Alright, this look probably looks weird. You know, I'm in like the fishing smock or whatever it is, and some really unnecessary chunky earrings. But it's a look, I'm just gonna go for it. Hello everyone, my name is Sydney, and I am finally doing another bookish video. I know on my Instagram a lot of people voted for a non-bookish video, but I'm traditionally a book channel, and overruled. I will get back to making my media of the month for May. May was a good month. I'm not gonna lie to you. I found some tunes, I found some movies that I really liked, both in the theater and on Netflix. But for now, I want to talk to you guys about books. Yay! It has been brought to my attention that many people are going on beach trips or mountain trips, you know, but you know, you don't really think of a mountain novel. You think of, you know, I'm gonna bring a beach novel. But a lot of people that are going to the beach, they want to read, but they don't know what to read. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to give you the best attempt at a beach novel recommendations video. I really tried to do my best and find multiple genres of stories that I could recommend for you guys, because I, you know, personally, I love fantasy. Like, that's just my niche. But I know that, you know, I've read some good contemporaries in the past. I'm pretty, you know, good with sci-fi. I posted this picture and I said, drop me a genre, you know, like what would you read or watch on TV? So without further ado, I have my books in front of me and I have my list. Here we go. Alright, so the first two books that I'm going to recommend you are what most people call trashy novels. But listen, sometimes trashy is exactly what you need. Although, look, these two novels have a big special place in my heart. I don't consider them trashy, I consider them entertaining. So the first one, you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, stop putting these on your book rec videos. I don't care, the first one is The Selection by Kiera Cass. Look, you need to read this at some point, especially girls. I'm not gonna force this down the throat of boys because there's a princess on the cover. It's kind of marketed for girls. But I want to specifically recommend this to the girls who love The Bachelor, because this is Royal Bachelor in book form. I'm telling you, it is so easy to fly through this book. It has, math, 4 other books. However, don't be scared. There is this one, another one, and the 3rd book. And they are its own trilogy. And then there are 2 spin-offs afterwards. If you want to get through this whole Bachelor contest, you have to read the 3 books. However, and I cannot express this enough, it is so easy to read these. You know, the text is not frighteningly small. The language is so easy. It's very conversational, no hard vocabulary. It's just plot. From the first sentence, it goes. It doesn't have a slow start. You have to trust me on this one. So girls, if you like The Bachelor, if you like Princess, if you like a good, sometimes cheesy romance, I highly recommend that on your next beach trip you take The Selection by Kiera Cass. The next one I have for you, I'm gonna get groans from the imaginary audience. Twilight. I know this isn't actually Twilight, this is The Short Second Life of Bree Tanner. I recommend Twilight because yes, it has the tropes. You know the story, or at least you know the gist of the story. So it's easy to follow along. I'm not downplaying anyone, but I read Twilight on a Kindle Fire in my 6th grade reading class. It is the young adult book that launched this whole market of other good novels. You ought to read it at least once so that you actually know what you're talking about. If you still want to complain about it and hate it, I mean, go ahead, but let me tell you, it's kind of fun. But yes, if you like typical romance, if you like introductory fantasy, like vampires and werewolves, but like no creatures advanced beyond that, and you just like some good old-fashioned tea and drama, I recommend Twilight. Now I'm going to go on to historical fiction, slightly non-fiction chapter, because I actually got a DM from someone who loves that genre. I am not a non-fiction person. I do like history though. So She told me that she had read The Nightingale. I don't know who the author is. I'm gonna insert the picture like right here. I think she said it was about like the Holocaust and hiding and all that. This sounds really bad, but I love learning about the Holocaust. It's just fascinating. I don't understand how it could ever happen and how people are dismissing it like it never happened. Anyways, so she said that's some of the stuff she likes to read. So my suggestion is something along the lines of the Romanov sisters. I don't know if this is the one that talks about the last days, but if you don't know about the Romanovs, they are the daughters of Tsar Nicholas II and his wife Alexandra. Everybody adored these daughters, okay? They were icons in their culture. And suddenly they just get straight up murdered in a basement. Also, yes, this is the Romanovs that like Anastasia spins off from, you know, the musical and the Disney movie. Like, let's never forget that either. But that is such a fascinating thing because there's so many conspiracies about it. That's more on the nonfiction side though, if I'm not mistaken. I kind of did some research on it. I think I read the sample pages that iBooks and Amazon gave me. Roll with it. It's such an interesting time in history. You know, most people focus on Europe and US and all that, but that's in Russia. And, you know, Russia's really interesting. So, geez, Sydney, how many times are you going to say interesting? Now, if you're looking for a historical fiction more on the YA side of reading material, I would suggest And I Darkened by Kirsten White. This is about if Vlad the Impaler was a girl. Need I say more? What's going on here is that Lada is our main character. Lada Dragula, I think is how you say her name. I read about 104 pages of it about a year ago. And then I lost my book, and then I found it, and then I didn't remember what happened in the story. So I actually am going to have to read this soon. But from what I remember, she and her brother Radu, they are shipped off to the Ottoman Empire because their father is, you know, caught up in a scheme, and so this invisible sword is like hanging over their heads. That's a metaphor, not an actual thing. Lada wants revenge, and Radu, her little brother, just wants to feel safe. The lonely, kind of rebellious son of the Ottoman Sultan says, hey, I can give you that. So it's just about their relationship and having to realize who you can and can't trust, because I believe you say his name Mehmed? Mehmed is the son of the Sultan, and the Sultan is the supreme leader of the empire and the place that Lada has sworn to hate. So, you see where I'm going here? So yeah, if you like Vlad the Impaler, and probably a better explanation from Amazon or Google than from me, please go look it up. Like, I really enjoyed this for the short time I got to read it. I'm gonna come back to it though. Alright, so now, as I was mentioning earlier when I was talking about the Romanov sisters and Anastasia and musicals, I have 2 book recommendations for you musical theater people. The first one I want to throw up is Alex and Eliza by Melissa de la Cruz. Melissa de la Cruz is the woman herself who wrote the books that became the Descendants movie. You know, the Disney Channel series and stuff. Yeah, that's her. Basically, the Schuyler family is happy to have gotten where they are financially and just within the colonies of, you know, America. And they are very proud of their 3 daughters. Angelica has her razor-sharp wit, Peggy has her beauty, and Eliza has her looks and her charms and her personality that rival her sisters. There's the Revolutionary War slowly unfolding, and all Eliza wants to do is help them. But no, she's being forced to dress up and attend a ball. Of course, she swiftly changes her mind about the ball when she hears of the possible arrival of one Mr. Alexander Hamilton. So I will not spoil any more for you guys. If you would like to read the love story behind the most historical musical couple in the history of mankind, please pick up Alex and Eliza by Melissa de la Cruz. Oh, also, this has 2 books following it. It has Love and War and All for One. This is the only book I have read of the trilogy though, so don't ask me my opinion on the rest because I can't. I don't have one. The last musical theater book I will recommend to you guys is Roseblood by A.G. Howard. Look at the cover. Please tell me what musical you think I am recommending to you. It is a twist though. It has vibes that stem from Phantom of the Opera. In this case, this girl's greatest talent is her greatest curse. The girl's name is Rune, and she has a beautiful angel-like singing voice. But she has an affliction that at the end of each piece, her singing leaves her detrimentally ill. So her mother decides to ship her off to a boarding school who have rumored ties to the Phantom of the Opera. Little by little, she starts to think that there is something otherworldly going on at the Roseblood Conservatory where she has been shipped away. And now and then she sees a masked boy outside the graveyards of the conservatory, but he disappears just about as fast as he appears. And little by little, she also starts forming a relationship with the elusive Thorn, and around his musical guidance, she feels cured. But even if they are falling for each other, the Phantom has other plans. So let's get straight to it. If you like Phantom of the Opera, you really should read this. Okay, this is for all my boys who are forced to read by their mothers this summer. I have one book for you. It is called Destiny Arrives. Now listen, I'm not putting the picture up yet, because I just want to show you how you can trick your mothers into thinking you're reading, but really, you're watching a movie. What would you say if I could give you a story about a man who is not only power hungry, but is so deranged within searching for that power that he is convinced that he can annihilate a large group of people? And what if I told you in that story there was a resistance group that would try until the ends of the earth, and even beyond that, to stop him? This is a matter of life or death for the whole world, or should I say half of the whole world. You guessed it, Destiny Arrives is literally Infinity War in book form. Literally, I was in Barnes & Noble and I saw it and I said, there's an Avengers book? That's so cool. I opened it. And I immediately recognized one of the lines of dialogue. You guys, if you liked Infinity War, it is literally Infinity War. But not just like, you know, the pieces of dialogue. You're not reading a script. You are reading an exact book. Like, it tells you, like, how they walk and what they feel and what they're thinking and if they're hungry. And then it has all the lines of dialogue. It's orchestrated really well. But you know the story. But it would be fun to relive it because it was such a good book. If you like superheroes and you like Marvel and the Avengers, I recommend Destiny Arrives. Just saying. On the other side of the superhero, you know, spectrum market, there's a series out there called DC Icons. And popular authors kind of put their own YA retelling twist on the stories of many different heroes. I own Wonder Woman and Catwoman. Wonder Woman was written by Leigh Bardugo, and Catwoman was written by the lovely Sarah J. Maas, but my copy of Catwoman is stored away and I cannot find it currently. So if you like DC, these are good ones to pick up as well. There's also one for Superman.
Marie Lu wrote the Batman one, not the Superman one.
By Marie Lu. Those are the only three that I know of. If not, I'm gonna put the new one right here. Now for my contemporary picks, I just have two for you guys. I'm trying to pick the happy contemporaries, okay? Because let me tell you, there are some sad contemporaries out there. And I don't want to do that to you on your beach vacation. You want to be happy, you know? The first one I'm going to recommend to you is Even If the Sky Falls by Mia Garcia. This is about a girl who is going with a youth group down to New Orleans to build houses and, you know, work and serve other people in that community. And it is right in the heat of Mardi Gras, and she decides one day to ditch her construction work and put on some beads and a mask and go party. Of course, along the way, she runs into a handsome stranger. The night they meet, they spend all the time together, getting to know each other and talking, and just, let's be real, they fall in love. It's insta-love. I'm sorry. But after that, the book is not done because now there is a hurricane that has come off its natural course and is heading straight for them. And slowly she realizes that, you know, it's not okay to pretend that everything's fine anymore. It's really good. It's really short. Like, you could power through. The cover's beautiful, might I add. So if you're looking for a short, breezy read, haha, no pun intended, because there's a hurricane, you should check out Even If the Sky Falls by Mia Garcia. The next contemporary I'm going to recommend to you is one of my absolute favorites. I'm actually finishing it right now. I don't know where I set down my copy though, so I'm just gonna put a picture on this side, is the one, the only, Again But Better by Christine Riccio. I have been watching her videos for the longest time. If I had nothing to do, I would go watch Pulling Bananas books. And it was just some of the happiest memories I have, honestly, like on YouTube and stuff. She made me really want to do this. She wrote the perfect book for me. Maybe it'll be perfect for you too, maybe not, but I'm going to recommend it anyway, especially for my girls who are either entering college or in the middle of college. This book is about Shane. You know, she's pre-med, has to get her life together, but kind of, you know, awkward and shy. She secretly wants to write, and so she signs up for a creative writing study abroad trip in London. And while she's there, she tells herself that she's gonna make new friends, she's gonna kiss a boy, like she's finally gonna step up and take ownership of her life and make some memories and start fresh. And it's so perfect. It's awkward, it's ditzy, it's cute. I love the aspect of being in a foreign country. It's just about her finding her confidence, and it just makes me so happy when I'm reading it. The way Christine writes is so genuine because, you know, it has all of the teenisms, the young adultisms. It also has like all of her inner thoughts, like, oh shoot, did I actually just touch his arm? Oops, does he know? Oh, I just dropped my cell phone in front of him. I am stupid. You know, it has that sort of stuff in it. I totally recommend that anyone who wants a good contemporary novel to read goes and picks up Again But Better by Christine Riccio. It is a fresh novel. It's her debut novel, and you can find it just about anywhere. I love it. If I would relate it back to anything, I would relate it to Fangirl. For those of you who read Fangirl. If not, you know, that's okay. Alright, I have 4 more books to recommend. We are slowly approaching the end. The first one, for my sci-fi people, I am recommending to you, yes, a Stephen King book. It's sci-fi though. Under the Dome by Stephen King. I remember when I was younger, I wrote a short story called Under the Dome. And at first my teacher was like, you know, like Stephen King Under the Dome? And I was like, what? So I looked it up. And basically, you guys, it is the Society in book form. But listen, Under the Dome came first. Like, it was written in the 60s or 70s. You know, like, Stephen King did it first. Basically what happens is, in the town of Chester's Mill, one day, there is this dome from a mysterious source that comes down and encloses the town. Many injuries and fatalities happen when this occurs, and some of those, you know, fatalities lead to the survived opponents wanting to seek power and take over the town. There's also a soldier who gets trapped, and so he believes that he should take over power. Basically, it's like, what would society do if it was trapped and left on its own? You know, who's capable of doing what evils? And I actually looked it up. There's a show called Under the Dome, but it is like Societies. The Society is like the teen version of it. So if that interests you, you should totally read Under the Dome by Stephen King. My explanation kind of sucked about it, but it does sound interesting. You should really go for it. Other sci-fi, but more suspense book that I'm going to recommend to you is The Silence of the Lambs. Basically, you know the gist of the story, or maybe you don't. New FBI agent Clarice Starling is trying to track down a killer who is abducting and murdering women. The dreaded killer's name is Buffalo Bill, but in order to track down Buffalo Bill, Clarice has to be able to understand the mind of a true killer, and that is when she comes into contact with Hannibal Lecter. Now, Hannibal Lecter, like the name, is a cannibal, and, you know, he straight up kills with no shame, and she is going to try to understand how the serial killer Buffalo Bill is able to do the same, you know, minus the eating, in order to find him and take him down. It is a great book. It is startling at times. Like, if you're reading it in a dark room, good luck. But it's fantastic. If you want to watch the movie to understand what you're looking for as you go through the book, you can, but it still makes the reading experience fun. So if you want some, you know, creepy vibes, I totally recommend you read The Silence of the Lambs. Alright, and the last 2 books I'm going to hold up for you guys are the ones that I have read on the beach and what I will be reading on the beach. For the first book, this is the one that I have read on the beach before. I'm kind of cheating because I read it in the mountains, but it was so nice outside I could still read it at the beach. And that was Dorothy Must Die by Danielle Page. I'll admit, when I first bought this book, I thought, this is a cinder block. Like, I'm not gonna get through this. I did, in the trip, and it was fantastic. Amy Gum, who is just, you know, trailer park trash, like has a pet rat and the mom is like always gone. A tornado sweeps up her and her pet rat Star while they are in their trailer park home, and they land in Oz. Only Oz is not Oz anymore because Dorothy has taken over and corrupted the place. So then she is recruited by the Revolutionary Order of the Wicked, where wicked witches are the good guys now. And she has a task: remove the Tin Man's heart, steal the Scarecrow's brains, take the Lion's courage, and then Dorothy must die. I read this summer before I went into 9th grade. 9th grade, yes. And it's still relevant now. I really like it. If you like a dark, twisted retelling, you should read Dorothy Must Die. And lastly, the book that I will be reading on my beach trip this summer is Scythe by Neal Shusterman. I have been putting this off for so long. This book is about how they have lived in a utopia, and the only way that people die nowadays is by scythes going into people's homes and killing them. Because they've fixed, you know, medical diseases and everything. Murder is population control. Scythes are the only ones allowed to end life. And if you try to fight back against the scythe, your whole family gets killed. So if a scythe is coming for you or for a loved one, let him go. Because otherwise, everyone's gonna get killed. But in this book, Citra and Rowan are two new apprentices to scythes, and they must learn the art of taking life. But both of them do not agree with the system. How will they act out without hurting their families? I'm really excited to read this book because I love a good moral concept. There's also a book after this called Thunderhead, but I'm just going to try and get through this one first. You know what, it's a little thick, but I think I can do it. I'm pretty good at this sort of stuff. But if this sounds up your alley too, you should join me and read Scythe by Neal Shusterman. Okay, I've been sitting crisscross applesauce or Indian style for like 40 minutes now filming, so I am finally really glad to say thank you guys so much for watching. I have dearly missed filming a book video. It feels really nice. I'm going to be filming my Media of the Month video very soon, and I will put that together for you guys. Once more, my name is Sydney. I make new videos whenever I can. It used to be Mondays, but you know, I don't know anymore. And until next time, bye.